Hello and welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles and figurines straight out of Japan, and you can find out more details about us in the description of this video, including our Facebook page and our eBay store. So this video will actually be to show you a customized version of Vegeta, which is the big one you see in the middle there. So the Raditz and the Nappa were released in the SCultures Series 5 line. And first I show you a video of the standard figures that were released. Then I made a video showing you the customized versions, customized paint jobs of the two that you see at the back there. But you know, as much as I love the Raditz and the Nappa release, the main criticism I had was the fact that there's no Vegeta. And you really, you know, to show those two characters, you really got to want a Vegeta, right? So I've tried different ways or showed you different solutions to do that, and I finally, I think, reached something that I'm satisfied with. So the first thing that I showed you was to actually collect the HSCF figures, which are the figures that you see in the foreground there. So these were released by Banpresto, and they're pretty decent looking figures, but obviously they're relatively small, I guess, and not particularly in sort of dramatic poses. But if you wanted to show Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz together, that is one thing that you could do. And since I've already made a video of them, I will get those guys out of the way. The next thing I showed you was a customized figure. Now this was actually a commercially released figure by Banpresto, released only a month ago, which was the Cho Zoshu line of figures. And this has been very heavily modified with the paint job. So this was sort of the standard Vegeta in like the Android saga that you see him, but it's obviously been modified to show the paint job when he was first seen, when Vegeta was first seen in the Dragon Ball series, when he was in outer space. But obviously the problem with this figure is that it's you know, the sort of sizing and the dimensions are a little bit different to the SCultures one. And also that his armor is actually not quite the same as the sort of standard Frieza Force kind of armory, because it doesn't have sort of the leg pads and the shoulder pads and all that sort of stuff. But that's not a bad solution, and that figure is relatively cheap to obtain, that one. But finally now, this is a customized figure. And this is actually, I think, the first customized. Actually, it's not the first one. There was a really big Super Saiyan Goku I showed, which was sort of a completely customized figure. But this figure actually comes from the, if you probably noticed, comes from the Raditz. So this was once upon a time that figure, the Raditz figure. But there have been a few changes made. So firstly, you will notice that Raditz and Nappa both have these kind of rounded parts on the shoes, and Vegeta does not have that. If I bring out the little guy again, you'll see that his shoes do not have those sort of round parts. So the first step was to use plaster to actually cover those round bits up. So you'll see that the boots look a little bit thicker in those two parts. Ended up being a little bit rough on the left foot, but you can see that they were covered up, and that was pretty much the only thing that was modified in the bottom half of the figure, other than the color, of course. So everything was then repainted to match the color scheme. But you'll notice that it is, other than that, quite literally the same things. Even all the muscles and the little sort of lines and things, you'll notice are the same. So for the top half of the figure, the armor again at the top was just repainted. So that is exactly as per this one as well. And the same for the arms. So the arms have also, again, you'll notice the sort of same kind of, you know, veins and lines. You'll see he's got one there, just like the Raditz over here. So the arms are exactly the same, except they've just been repainted. Now, the hands were a little bit difficult because not only again does Raditz have these sort of round parts here, but he's obviously not wearing gloves as well. So these hands were actually taken off the Super Saiyan Vegeta, which was also released in the SCultures Series 5, and I'll show you that in a sec. So the hands were actually taken from another figure, but so far everything else has been straight from the Raditz, just recolored. Now the neck is also the same, but the head has been completely replaced. So Raditz's head was taken off, which obviously included all of his hair as well, and it was replaced with, again, the same head that was in the Super Saiyan Vegeta Series 5, SCultures Series 5 figure, which I'll show you in a sec. So yeah, so basically everything here is just repainted except for the hands and the head, and then the plaster sort of cover up on the feet. So aside from those three things, it is essentially just a sort of repaint job. So I'll now show you, I don't actually have an open one here, but I'll show you the figure that I am referring to. So this is the Super Saiyan Vegeta SCultures Series 5 figure. So you'll notice that the hair, ignore the colours of course, but you'll notice even like the sort of power up marks on his forehead are exactly the same. The mold of the head is exactly the same, the mouth and the hair and that sort of stuff. So, and then the scouter was taken again from Raditz. So that's Raditz's scouter glued back onto the ear, so you see it doesn't quite sit on snugly there. But yeah, everything there is from the head, which is actually a really good head mold of that figure. I really like that one. Which is why it looks good here. And then the eyes had to be actually repainted because the pupils are sort of looking in an opposite direction there with this figure, so they were sort of repainted to be looking in the right direction. So yeah, and I'll show you, yeah, so the hands as well, as I said, you'll notice that hand is the same as that one. You can't actually see the left hand very clearly on the box. You can kind of see it there, can't you? Not really. Maybe here you can see it. So that there is the same hand. So that is how that this figure in front of you was put together. So I'm pretty satisfied with the results. I think now finally that's a pretty decent looking Vegeta Nappa Raditz set. The only real disadvantage is that you know, Vegeta appears the same size as the other two, which in reality in animation reality he's meant to be smaller in stature. And the other thing is that he's more or less in the same stance as Raditz, obviously, because it's essentially the same mold. But I really like this stance, actually. I think it is a pretty cool stance. So, and the fact that the colouring scheme is so different, and also that the you know, the hands as well are a little bit different. I think it's changed enough that you could sort of get away with it, rather than having two figures look exactly the same. And as I said, I mean, it's a fighting stance. I mean, it looks like they're all ready. The three of them are ready to go into battle. So I'll show you now just sort of a very quick 360 view. I should note as well that the Raditz and Nappa are actually re-customized. That mark there was from the Raditz hair that was on there. They've been repainted as well to just look a bit more cooler and dramatic. So the factory version is a bit more monotone. I'm referring to the Nappa and the Raditz. So aside from the sort of different colouring, the Raditz, like for example, his hair is like completely black. You don't have these sort of streaks, and same with the legs and that sort of stuff. And the body plates is kind of like a monotone black. So I've shown them in different videos, so I won't waste too much time you know, showing you all that again. But you can see it just looks a bit more dramatic. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favourite ones. now in my own collection. So if you do like the Saiyans and you want to collect more Saiyans, there was of course the Bardock that was released also in the SCultures Series 5 line. Again, this is a repainted version, a modified version, but the mold itself is exactly the same to the factory release. Very, very cool looking figure. There was the Child Goku that was released in the Series 2 line. There was also a Goku, released in the Series 2 line as well. That was also Series 2. So that actually looks pretty cool with the Raditz and Nappa, doesn't it? The Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta. Could even make like a father-son with Bardock, Raditz, Goku. Prince Vegeta, Kuji, Legend of Saiyan, King Vegeta figure. And then, yeah, as I said, this was a customized version of Vegeta as well. So there's plenty of really cool Saiyan figures. There's also great ones of Vegeta and Trunks and all that in the SCultures line. I've made separate videos of them before in the past. But anyway, hope that shows you something cool, which was the customized Vegeta. So thank you very much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and see you in the next video.